Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Comics from the Future. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
And we're with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Comics from the Future is our show where we showcase all of the available books that are available for pre-order this week. The greatest comics, the greatest covers. If you happen to notice, we launched another show before this one. It is our Abridged show. It's our new one. It is comics pre-order in a flash. Even though this show, we go through so many books, it takes us about 45 minutes. We decided let's do an abridged 5-minute one where we just show like the 10 sort of best ones. Well, this show, we're going to go through everything. We're going to tell you what you might like. This is just sort of the longer-winded one. So if you want to go along with us or order these comics or read more about them, head over to our site at infinityflux.net. You can sign up to subscribe any of these series, or you could just pre-order the comics that you want. Anything you pre-order, you get at 10% off, and you get our everlasting appreciation. So again, that's infinityflux.net. Okay, so Andy, let's begin the show with our featured comics, starting with...
A very big one. It's a new Avengers #1.
I wonder what volume they're on now.
I have no idea. I'm sure it's debatable what people consider, but it's the newest one. I know that for sure. I love the team that is working on this. It's Jed MacKay and C.F. Villa, who's one of your more recent Stormbreakers artists. And Jed MacKay, who we're big fans of around here, from Black Cat to Moon Knight to everything, really, over at Marvel. So you can see your new team here of Captain Marvel, Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Black Panther, Scarlet Witch, and Vision. And not a whole lot about the story is known, but they do talk about Terminus, one of the big villains that actually first appeared in Fantastic Four, is going to be showing up. And there may be a traitor or someone who is going to be an enemy disguised as a friend. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see who that's going to be. But I'm very excited about this. I think it's a very interesting group of characters to be teamed up. It feels kind of classic, but with kind of some newer character flair to it.
And Jed MacKay is one of my favorite writers at Marvel. Yep. I mean, we've been singing his praises for the last few years, and it seems like he just keeps rising through the ranks, and now on Avengers.
I was about to say, this is about as high up as you can get in Marvel. So, very excited about this. This is your A cover.
I was wondering, who do you think the leader is going to be?
You know, I almost feel like it's going to be duel between Carol and Sam. Okay. I feel like I can't see either one of those like overstepping the other one, so they're just both tapping out at the top. We also have, this is the ACUNA variant. This is really cool. So kind of homaging those classic, what were they called?
Corner boxes.
Corner boxes, the floating heads of yesteryear. Mark Brooks is going to be doing this, I think, with quite a few comics coming out. This is going to be a series of variants. So that's the Brooks. We also have the CHEUNG Scarlet Witch variant.
Always looking good in red, even when she's in red on top of red.
Yeah. And then we have this really nice John Tyler Christopher Negative Space variant. And we have a new variant. And a very funny Scotty Young one. If you stop and read it, it's making fun of Scotty Young and how he's running out of ideas to do on covers for Avengers #1 because he's done so many now. So very excited about this. I think a lot of people are going to try this out. But don't wait, because this is one of the books, like with all these Marvel #1s, we get a couple into it, people start scrambling trying to get the first ones, and it gets more difficult as it goes on, so pre-order it.
Okay, one of the big ones from DC available for pre-order is Batman, the Brave and the Bold #1, a new anthology series from DC that has just a ton of talent on it, including Tom King, Christopher Cantwell, Ed Bryson, Dan Mora, Mitch Gerads, and that's just some of the people that are working on this book. To read about this, it's like 3 paragraphs on all the stories they're going to be doing in this. The main one I'm just going to tell you about, they're going to do the story of the first time Batman battled the Joker. So that's going to be over a series of the first 4 issues.
Mhm.
I think that's pretty much the most enticing one I read
Yeah.
about, but a lot of other cool things. Didn't you looked at a preview
Yeah,
that we had
I
on this,
skimmed
right?
through this, and there's some really interesting stories in here. The Dan Mora story that he is doing the art and writing features possibly a new Batman, not of any Earth that we know of.
You say he looks sort of Power
There's
Ranger
there's kind of a
Batman.
Power Rangers air to him that I think is really cool, and there is a Superman story in this that I thought was really good. So, there's Batman in it, but there you get a lot of other fan favorite characters in there as well.
All right, so here is the CHEUNG variant, and here is the Cho variant,
Yep.
where Superman flung Batman into space and said, "I'm taking this cover." Okay, we also wanted you to know about this Dawn of DC primer, which is being released. It's like, I think, about a week after Free Comic Book
That's why I
Day.
want to kind of put it up there because I feel like a lot of people are going to come in on Free Comic Book Day and say, "Where's this?" And it's like you got to wait a week.
Yeah, because it is a free comic.
Yeah.
So, the details are right there. You got Joshua Williamson on it, art by Leandro Fernandez. So, a lot of the secrets of the Dawn of DC. The idea to it, what I read was DC said this is coming out about a week after Free Comic Day. That way you can tell people on Free Comic Day, here's a reason to come back.
Yeah.
Another free book. So different retailers are going to order this in different amounts because when they say it's free, it's not exactly free to us.
Yeah.
It's highly discounted, but it still costs some money. But just wanted to let you guys know this is coming out. I doubt it's anything you have to ask your retailer to hold for you. I mean, if they're a store like us, we're going to have plenty of them.
Yeah.
But just another exciting reason to come visit your store. Nice to see DC is just supporting comics and people coming out to comic stores on a weekly basis with some discounted and free stuff.
People are going to come on that day and say, "Well, then what's next week free?" You're like, at some point, we got to stop with the free.
Uh-oh.
But DC does have a Free Comic Book Day book too. That's the Night Terrors one. So you could get that on Free Comic Book Day and come back the next week and get this one.
Correct.
Okay, this one,
yeah,
super exciting. I thought this was a fan art fake cover when I originally saw this because I was like, they're not doing this. But yes, they are doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Street Fighter. It's gonna get real messy when they go up against Mortal Kombat. But starting off with Street Fighter, this is going to be a 5-issue miniseries by Paul Allor with art by Ariel Medel. And it's kind of what you imagine. There's going to be a tournament that is set up, a very prestigious martial arts tournament that the Turtles hear about. They decide they want to be a part of it, and they're going to come in there with all the Street Fighter characters. But some of the fighters start disappearing, and also, who is the mysterious benefactor that's funding this whole fight? It's probably Shredder or
M. Bison.
Bison. It's Shredder Bison or something. It's going to be a team up of the two. But I think a lot of people will love this. And I don't know a whole lot of people who know this is coming out. So definitely check with your store. Pre-order from us, any of those, because I think this is going to be really cool.
Like, I'm excited for this also because one of my favorite premises of any Kung Fu movie is there's a tournament, and so you get guaranteed one-on-one fight.
Yep.
Then there's also stuff going on outside the tournament that's more nefarious.
Yeah.
That's always such a good premise. So you're going to see Turtles going up against Street Fighter characters, guaranteed. It's not going to be like they meet and there's a miscommunication, then they immediately are just pals. They're going to fight in the ring throughout the series.
It even says in the solicitation, it's like, Leonardo versus Ryu.
Yeah.
Looks like you got Michelangelo versus Chun-Li. Like, you are getting matchups, and I think that's going to be really cool.
They got me on this one.
Yeah. So we also have a not Joshua Williamson, Freddie Williams III variant.
It's really cool.
It's very cool. And then we also have this very video game style REILLY cover.
Yep.
It says KO at the bottom, but who KO'd who?
Sort of the two leaders taking on each other. Okay, so from Marvel, another one I'm excited about. There's a lot of books that are really good.
It's a big week.
It is Danny Ketch Ghost Rider. It's a 5-issue miniseries that's sort of untold tales from back when Dan Ketch was the Ghost Rider, back in the 90s. And it's being done by writer Howard Mackey, the writer of that awesome series. I have so many good memories of buying that book and just how good of a writer Howard Mackie was on it. I mean, he created the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider. So I think it's really smart. Hats off to Marvel for getting him back on the book.
Yep.
So again, it's a 5-issue miniseries. The first issue at least is going to be almost double size. I think it's a 40-page first issue, which I always like. Let the writer and art breathe. Give it that extra space. And I think it's still just like $4.99 for 40 pages, almost a double issue. So here's our main cover. Here is the LUBERI variant. Here is the TEXEIRA variant. And TEXEIRA, Mark TEXEIRA was the original Ghost Rider artist. When this was first announced, before this cover was even revealed, I was like, you know TEXEIRA is doing some covers for this. And then here is the VICENTINI variant for it as well.
I guess you've got a cosmic Ghost Rider there, so it works.
I see that, yeah. I
There
wonder
is
if any
some
of this will
presence.
come into play.
I don't know.
I doubt it.
Probably not. They just needed a fun Guardians one.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, another big one. We are getting a return of Green Lantern. This is Green Lantern #1. It's going to be written by Jeremy Adams with a backup story by Philip Kennedy Johnson. The main artist is Zaramanico, and the backup art is by Montos. And so your A story in this is, of course, Hal Jordan. And after Dark Crisis, the Guardians have like quarantined Earth off and Hal Jordan is on the Earth now. And apparently something has happened pretty bad to him, of course, and it's Sinestro's fault. Sinestro kind of ruined his life. But Sinestro is somewhere on Earth, and Hal Jordan is going to try and find him. You'll get a hint of that in one of the variant covers. But I think the other really cool thing of this is the backup story by Philip Kennedy Johnson is called John Stewart War Journal. And it's going to be a John Stewart centric story. But I can also say I have looked through this one, and the other lanterns do make an appearance. You do get Guy Gardner and some other fan favorite lanterns in here. So I love this direction DC's going. It's very fun. It's very bright. Carol and Hal have a lot of fun back and forth in this one. So I'm very excited that we have a classic Green Lantern book.
Jeremy Adams is going to be fresh off of doing Flash, which has been one of the best fun Flash runs in a long time. So I can't wait to see what kind of life he breathes into this. That's why, you said all the other characters, and it's like, just like you did with Flash, he loves to bring in other characters.
The family.
Yes.
So that is our A cover. We also have this Perillo. You can see Sinestro's hiding in plain sight right there.
He looks so sleazy.
Or like a model or something for leather jackets. We have the Ivan Rice cover. Very excited about that one. And this is the Pete Woods variant, where Carol's not having any of Hal's nonsense.
Okay, so here's a new series called Something Epic. It is the art and writing is both done by Simon Kudansky, and the premise is really interesting. So the world of creativity, like creative thought, imagination, is being made physical. Okay, it's something that just certain people, they're called epics, thus the title. These epics people can see the world of creativity, they can interact with it, they can possibly weaponize it. So it's sort of a really big deal that these people can do that. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I can't wait to find out.
Sounds pretty limitless.
Yeah, what you could do with that sort of power. Well, our main character is a 14-year-old boy who has learned that he has this power, and he is going to take on the responsibility of having to join the world of the epics. And will he be there for good, evil? I do not know. So that is the premise to Something Epic. And this main cover is done by our interior artist and writer. So, I mean, just that alone, just a lot of feeling to this cover. Here is the Daniel variant. And then our main creator did a C, D, E, and F variant. So here's the C variant, Terminator 2 homage. Here is the D variant, Amazing Fantasy 15 homage. Here is the E variant, which
I guess is an album. I'm not sure which
it is. It's on the tip of my mind. Right in, everyone. I'm sure we all know. One of y'all knows it right away. Here is the F variant. Nintendo game.
Yeah.
And then there is a blank sketch variant for it as well.
So if you see him out at a con, you can get him to do another
Homage
homage.
one. Yep.
Next up, Dynamite is continuing with their Disney properties, specifically Disney villains with Maleficent. So this is a new series from Sue Lee that is your writer and artist on this. You'll have to see their art on one of the variants. It's very cool, very interesting. And I couldn't tell a whole lot about the story specifically from this, but it does kind of talk about that people have been going to Maleficent's mountain that she resides on, trying to steal her magic and powers. And she's about had enough
Real good
of it.
choice.
And she's going to come down off of that mountain and wreak havoc. I'm sure she'll maybe learn a lesson along the way, maybe not. Who knows? But I love the continuing Disney Dynamite team up. I can't wait to see who we get next. Maybe a Captain Hook or a Ursula or something. But this one sounds really cool. So this is our A cover. Next up, we have the Sue Lee variant. This is your interior artist, which I think is a very interesting style for a book like this.
I like it a lot. All the lines look
Very
really neat.
illustrative. This is our Meyer cover. The Puebla variant. This is the Durso variant. And then the next two, if you do buy from us, they are not up on the pre-order website yet, but I'm sure they will be soon. Just they are the FOC reveal variant, so they don't put them on there until the last second, basically. But one I know a lot of people want, this is the J. Scott Campbell cover. He's designed and done a lot of like statues and everything with Disney, so I think this is really nice. And then we also have the Pacer variant as well. Looks like maybe an old comic or something style.
Okay, now for our. Oh wait, no, we have one more really important one.
Yeah, really important.
It is Spider-Man #2. Second print, #7.
Spider-Man #7, second print. And this is our featured segment, and so we didn't want to wait till the very end to tell you about this because Spider-Man #7, first appearance of Spider-Boy, is going to a second printing with this fantastic new cover featuring Spider-Boy prominently on the cover. So if you missed out on that Ramos variant that had him for the first one, or you're going to try to get all of Spider-Boy's appearances now, still fresh, still don't know a whole lot about him, but we're going to be learning more soon. You'll definitely want to pre-order this one because I am guessing this is going to go very, very fast.
This is a great cover for a new character. And I believe there are a few other covers as well, right?
I think there's an incentive.
It's just an incentive?
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyhow, you can check our website. They will all be there. But yeah, this is a fantastic cover. All right, so now we're going to get to our next segment, other #1s. We can't feature them all, so here are some other ones you might want to know about. Beginning with Spirit World #1. This is a new maxi series from DC, so it's going to be either 10 or 12 issues. It is written with art by Alyssa Wong, and this features the newer DC hero Xanth, who's a Chinese hero that can travel to the spirit world amongst having other powers. I think Xanth uses a big broadsword, can write things down on a special piece of paper and burn it, and then it causes that thing to appear in reality. A lot of very interesting sort of Eastern powers. So in this series, which of course is Xanth's first series, first appearing in Lazarus Planet or Legends Reborn, Xanth is going to team up with Constantine to save Batgirl, who's been pulled into the spirit world.
I have had a sampling of this one too, and I'll say Batgirl does get a new costume in this. I don't know how long it's going to stay around, but it is very cool. Very ninja.
So here's our main cover. Here is the Wen variant. And here is the Orzu Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month variant. Also want to mention from DC, they're coming out with this Maps of Mystery.
I love this cover.
One shot, which is made to look like an old D&D module. So this is actually, this reprints some Gotham Academy stories that were told in Batman 119 through 121, and one that was in Saved by the Bell Reeve. So it's sort of all the newer stuff that Maps and Gotham Academy has been in the last 2 years are reprinted in this one shot with just a great cover.
I think it's interesting. They're really keeping Maps,
on the map.
On the map. I think there's big stuff for her coming up. Next up is a new, we couldn't quite tell. Is this a one-shot? Is this a mini-series? This is ongoing. Hard to find out. So you don't want to miss it either way. This is Kong the Great War it's called #1, but sometimes they do that even if it's a one-shot. A new King Kong special series by Alex Cox and a really nice Brian Hitch A cover here. And in this, set during World War I, a U-boat is lost at sea and seems to wash ashore of Skull Island, where they not only have to contend with the dinosaurs, the giant insects, all the craziness that's on there, but of course the king of them all himself, King Kong. So I know a lot of people are very excited about this. There's some classic King Kong fans. We've been getting a lot of Godzilla, but not a whole lot of King Kong. So very excited for this one. This is our A cover for that. We also have the Jay Lee variant. He's not looking at her as fondly as he looked at Fay Ray.
No.
Looks like he's about to chomp.
Yep.
And we also have this very classic looking DeVito cover.
Okay, another mini series that's beginning is Dead by Daylight. This is a 4-issue mini series that is a prequel to the hit horror Many versus One video game series. And this is going to include a code to unlock an in-game charm.
It's a very hot thing to do now with comics.
I know, and sometimes this stuff, it's like nobody orders it, and then everyone wants it later.
Yep.
And then other times, I don't know, it's not as big a deal. It's really hard to predict that. So if you think you might want it, if you think you know friends that might want it, definitely pre-order this book from whoever you order from. Like pre-orders are like votes we take on popularity of books, and that lets us know how many more we should order for the wall in the general public. So it means a lot to us, everyone that watches the show and places your pre-orders. Even if you don't do it with us, trust me, your store loves you for doing it.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the main cover. Here is the Shihan variant. Here is the game cover variant. Here is the Simakova variant. Here is the Snook variant. And lastly, the Lee variant.
Jay Lee's just cranking them out on this.
With that many variants, they must really believe that this is going to be a big deal.
Very popular game, so.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is San Julian, Queen of the Lost World #1. So if you're familiar with how they're doing the Frank Frazetta books at Opus, this is much the very same. So San Julian is a famous painter. You may not recognize the name, but you would probably recognize his covers for books like Eerie and Vampirella, some very classic covers there. And so they're taking some of his original paintings and turning them into fleshed out stories of his original characters. So this is going to be by John Repion and Lee Moore. And the art is by Ariel Olivetti. So this is your A cover for that. It's going to be kind of a fantasy epic. And then we also have, I believe this is the San Julian variant. So that's his art. You probably start to recognize it from some Vampirella covers and stuff.
All right, time for our next segment, Cool Covers and Other Comics, where we go over the variants we think you're going to want to possibly order this week and issue number 2s and 3s of series that perhaps you need a reminder you want to sign up for. Beginning with, it is Danger Street, issue number 6. This is the main Fornes cover.
That's amazing.
It is the Dark Side cereal box variant, or not variant, cover that no one knew they needed until they saw it. I think that this cover I just can't believe this was the original A cover that was planned. I almost feel like he maybe did a sketch and it's like, yeah, we got to make that the main cover.
Yeah, like they got switched at some point and they're like, this is too good. This needs to be for everyone.
Yeah, some people are definitely going to want this just on this cover. I mean,
There's some great jokes on there
amazing,
too.
goofy. I don't know what to say, but definitely stands out. So again, this is Danger Street #6, the main cover.
And next up, we have Superman Lost, #3 of 10. We just got issue 2 the other day. Really liked issue #2. And in this one, Superman is actually, when he gets thrust into space, has started his journey to head back to Earth, only to realize even with his super speed, it would take lifetimes to get back to Earth. But he might get some help from some spacefaring travelers. So this is our A cover. And then we have our Lee Weeks variant.
Here's the main, or I'm sorry, this.
Yeah, that's
Oh wow, that
main.
is another main cover that doesn't seem like a main cover to
I
me.
know, it's awesome.
DC, they're fooling me. So this is the main cover to Multiversity. Harley screws up the DCU issue #3. Obviously, a great Action Comics #1 homage, and it's great because you have two Harleys in the series right now, and they both get to be in it.
Yep.
So I like that a lot. And in this issue, the two Harleys have decided that there's a particular super baby they need to go back in time to make sure they save to help them fight Starro. Gee, I wonder what super baby they're going to be trying to save. You'll have to read it to find out, even though I think we all know. And here is the Tyler Kirkham variant to that issue as well.
Next up, we have Sandman Universe Nightmare Country, The Glass House, #2. I feel like a lot of people read the first Nightmare Country, it ended, and they didn't realize that there's a volume 2. Issue 1 of it just came out. So hurry to your store or to our website, order your copy if you didn't realize it and you want to continue it, still by James Tynion. So this is our A cover for that. And then we also have this very creepy Michael Walsh variant.
All right, this is our main Fornas cover to Waller versus Wildstorm #2. Amanda Waller may be selling metahumans as weapons. So you'll have
Probably
to
not
read
may, probably is.
to see. She's being pressured into it, thinking about it. We'll see how it goes. And here is the variant by Eric Battle.
And there's also this really cool, this is for Wildcats #7, this Women's History Month Clay Man variant featuring some of your favorite women of the Wildstorm.
All right, so here's the main cover to Fantastic Four #7. You can tell that's an Alex Ross cover.
Yeah.
And this is not just issue 7. This is Legacy issue 700.
700.
Yes. So it's big double size issue because it's one of those big centennial numbers.
Yeah.
And in this one, the Fantastic Four
Dr. Doom has said something's happened to them where they're returning home, but something happens where the idea of language starts melting out of them. So I bet you're gonna get a couple of pages of just babbling Fantastic Four. And what does Doom have to do with that? That doesn't seem like something that's his MO, but you never know.
I read about this too, so I realized halfway through, I'm like, wait a minute, that's your one I'm doing. I just happened to have read about it too.
It takes 2 people to talk about it, but I am very excited about this like giant size 700 issue. This run of Fantastic Four has been, need I say, fantastic. So yeah, this is our Alex Ross A cover. We have the Kemenkoli Spider-Verse variant. Okay, this is a 2-parter, and it's going to make your eyes cross looking at it. But this is the Koblish wraparound variant, where it even has multiple versions of the Fantastic Four in there. So I believe this is the front of it, and this is the back. Down in the left-hand corner is like the first appearance where Ben Grimm is like Rocky, but not the Rocky we know him. He's just kind of like just a big boulder guy. I love the classic look for those. We also have the Greg Land Thing variant. We have a Liefeld homage variant. And we have, bringing him back, Walt Simonson is doing a variant as well.
All right, here is the main cover for Guardians of the Galaxy #2. The Guardians are caught in the middle of a civil war. Meanwhile, Groot Fall is coming. And Groot Fall doesn't pick any side at all. So again, main cover, here is the Mercado variant. Here is the Peach Momoko variant with Nebula. And here is the Zulo Spider-Verse variant.
I'm looking forward to finding out the origin of Groot Fall because in that first issue, it's pretty scary. Like what got to this point? Next up, we have Hulk Annual #1, and this is you're actually going to get a hint of what the new Hulk series is going to be like because this has the writer Philip Kennedy Johnson that's going to be doing the new Hulk series. So I feel like this is kind of a little bridge between our last Hulk run and the new one. And in this one, it says that Hulk is going up against Giganto. So very cool, very nice Gary Frank A cover for that. We have the Cully Hamner Spider-Verse variant. This time Maestro is the Spider-Man in question. And we have a Sharp variant.
Here's the main cover to Spider-Man 2099 issue #3 for the new series Dark Genesis. And it says it's going to have Punisher 2099 Reborn. So Andy and I were talking about this because I was like, okay, are they saying, is this a new Punisher 2099? Is it the original guy who was Punisher 2099 who was not Frank Castle? And Andy suggested maybe Frank Castle is coming back to be Punisher of the future, but for the first time.
Yeah.
Try to wrap your head around that. I think it's a great suggestion.
Yeah.
I think this might be Frank Castle brought back. No confirmation. I mean, they just say Punisher 2099 Reborn. That's all they say. So have to read it to find out. Here is the Lashley frame variant. These have all been fantastic.
Yeah, with this new Daredevil. Very cool.
And here is the Rice connecting variant for that as well.
Next up, we have Star Wars Bounty Hunters #34. So this is, it's not the end of the series, but it's kind of like a big milestone in the series because going up against the Inferno Squadron, the team of bounty hunters is going to change pretty significantly from what happens in this issue. We've seen hints of who's going to be on the new team, like Dirge and some other really interesting characters, but a lot's going to happen in Bounty Hunters #34. So this is our A cover for that. We also have a Kamen variant with IG-88. And we also have the Return of the Jedi variant.
Okay, here's the Caselli variant to Miles Morales issue #6. And in this, Miles is continuing to take on Cletus Cassidy. It's not exactly Carnage. He's got new powers and symbiote armor. So again, this is the Caselli variant.
Next up, we have Predator #3. After the last issue, Theta, kind of our main character, suffered a pretty horrific injury that who knows if she's going to survive it. It's not looking good, but this has been a great series so far. So this is the A cover for #3. And then we have the Kokolo variant with some of those other alien species that are on the planet that are wreaking havoc.
Here is the Cola variant to Bloodline Daughter of Blade #4, the series where Bloodline, whose name is Brielle, has teamed up with her father Blade for the very first time. So again, here's the Cola variant to that issue #4.
She hasn't been around that long and already a spider. Next up, we have the Spider-Verse variant for Red Goblin #4. So I think this is really funny. It's kind of a reverse of instead of Spider-Man becoming Carnage, it's like Carnage becoming Spider-Man almost. So this one is by Mike McCone.
Okay, this is the Dan Panosian Spider-Verse variant for Venom #19. But I'm really interested in this issue too because it says that in this issue, Eddie reaches something called true enlightenment, like capital on the T of true, capital on the E of enlightenment, and that this is going to reveal his most powerful form yet.
Oh my gosh, he's powering up.
I know, yeah. So anyhow, again, this is the Panosian Spider-Verse variant for that issue #19.
Also, if you notice on that one, his spit is webs. Like that's, I guess, how he makes his. It like goes out and becomes webs. Very weird and
I think my mind
disturbing.
didn't want to notice that.
Next up is X-Men number 22. There is some great variants for this one this week. So first off, we have, of course, the corner box variant by Brooks. We have the Kamancholi trading card variant with everyone's floating head. We have the Caselli Marvel Icons variant, this time with Psylocke. We have this great Chew cover with Magic. And we have the Perel Spider-Verse variant.
All right, so this is the Barron's Spider-Verse variant for X-Force number 40.
Colossus with spider powers.
Marvel's just like, you guys need to get more weird with these. So in this issue, it is the X-Force team. They're taking a page from the Wolverine comic because they're going up against Beast.
Oh no!
Beast is the villain in this one, and Wolverine's in it too. Bear in mind.
He ran over to that book and was like, "Come with me. We gotta take on Beast."
Yep. So this is the Baron's variant for that.
Next up, we have She-Hulk number 13. And as you can see on the cover, Hellcat comes back into it to help Jen out against the new villain that has popped up in the series. So this is, of course, our Bartel A cover. We have the Bartel Spider-Verse variant. She's doing 2 with very interesting costume there. And we have a Greg Land variant as well.
Here's the Daniel and Anderson variant for the final issue of Junkyard Joe.
It's been a while since we got the last issue of it.
The miniseries by Jeff Johns with art by Gary Frank. So again, that final issue is up for order.
One of my after the second issue, one of my new favorite indie books coming out right now, The Ambassadors. This is issue 4 of 6. This time we are going to meet a priest from Brazil who is fighting drug lords. He is offered the position of becoming one of these superheroes, and this time the art is done by Oliver Coipel. So very excited about this one. This is our A cover. We have a black and white version of that cover. And we have a Sook variant.
Here is the Mark Brooks cover for Spawn issue number 341. This is actually the main cover. I love Mark Brooks stuff.
I was about to say, there's kind of a running Jay Lee and Mark Brooks who can have the most covers this week. So,
and in this, Spawn and Haunt have just got back from heaven, and they learned that they might have caused more trouble than they expected by doing that.
And next up, we'll continue with Scar number 2 of our Disney villain series. So, continuing the story of Scar, the prequel to Lion King, as he is seeking a way to usurp the throne away from his brother Mufasa. So this is our A cover. We have a Yoon variant and the Jay Lee variant.
The goofy hyenas. Okay, this is the main cover to Great British Bump Off number 2. This series just began last week. And in this issue, there's going to be the technical baking challenge. But of course, things are going to turn deadly. So again, this is our main cover by the interior artist, I believe. And then here is the variant. This is the Tremaine variant for that issue number 2. All right, now on to our last segment. It is other printings and graphic novels.
Starting with Star Wars The Blade. This collects all 4 issues of The Blade, focused on Porter Engle, the greatest swordsman of the Jedi. A lot of people really enjoyed the series. I thought it was great. This is the trade for only $15.99.
Also coming out is a $14.99 trade paperback of Grimm Volume 2, the series done by Stephanie Phillips with incredible interior art by Flaviano. So this follows Jessica Harrow as she tries to figure out what her real relationship is to the Grim Reaper. So anyway, this is going to be your issues number 6 through 10 of that series.
Next up, we have a big one. This is the Batman TMNT Omnibus. This is $100. Collects all 3 volumes of the crossovers that they have done together, plus tons of bonus stuff, all the covers, everything for only $100.
Avengers number 1 is having a facsimile releasing that you can pre-order now. This, of course, is done by legendary teams Stan Lee and Jack Kirby as they began telling the tale of Earth's mightiest heroes way back in 1963.
Yeah, so you got actually 2 Avengers #1s coming out in the same week.
That's true. The latest volume and the facsimile of volume 1. Yeah. Read them side by side.
Stuff happened in between, but you don't really need to know that. Next up, we are getting Doctor Strange #1 second printing. Speaking of one of our favorite writers, Jed MacKay, this is his new ongoing Doctor Strange title. So if you missed the first printing, you can check out this one.
Also, having a second print is Planet of the Apes #1, the new series. Now that Marvel has the property of Planet of the Apes, they started a comic series. I reviewed it, I think, 2 weeks ago. I thought it was a really good #1, provided you really like those movies. Yeah. I do. It is by our team of Daves. David F. Walker is the writer. Dave Watcher is the artist. And the second printing cover is done by Joshua Cassara. And that is our show. So thanks for watching. I want to mention again, we have a new show that we started that we posted before this one called Comics to Pre-Order in a Flash, where we basically went through like the 10 that we thought was the biggest deal and a few of their variants. So if you don't have time to watch our full show, we're going to be doing that one from now on. So basically you have choice. You got the short show, or you can watch the long show where we tell you more of the details, who's on each book, and every little opinion. So we keep trying to grow this channel. So if you're watching us on YouTube, hit subscribe, please, so you don't miss our coming videos. And also, if you want to know more about these comics and or think about subscribing to some of them, go to our website at infinityflux.net. It is very easy to start a subscription with us, where you can look at the comics we talked about this week. You can subscribe to the ongoing series, or you could just order just whatever covers you want, and you get 10% off for anything you order that way, and you have our thanks. So we will be back on Monday with our regular day early review show, where we will be reviewing all the comics before they're released. So we will see you then.